It was a great Tuesday. We always begin every training session with some sort of drill that has a purpose, but the overall theme is always making something more efficient. This one quote we used to tell the players all the time is, mastery is doing what is required in the fewest movements necessary. So when it comes to dodging, that's not having careless cradles, that's not having your head just snap too much unintentionally. You want your head turning, but with your shoulders in a realistic way. You can't just do things in an over-excessive way. It needs to be realistic. So today, what we started with was a back pedal into a turn into a shot. And the challenge always is, do it without cradles. Okay, and you may think, but in the game of lacrosse, you're cradling, you're ball handling. But if you can do it without it, you can definitely do it with a couple. But if you can't do it without the cradles, then there's going to be a time in a game when you're asked to execute at the most efficient level and you can't. So what we're pushing players towards is do it with the least. Do it with the least. If you can do something with the least, you can definitely do it when you've got a little more. But there's going to be a day when you're asked to execute something with limited cradles in the most efficient way possible. That's mastery. Mastery is the classic, I think Abraham Lincoln, when he said, I would have wrote a shorter letter if I had more time. The more you whittle away, the more pure the actual thing is. So in training, you're trimming the fat. You're always trimming the fat. You're putting the gold into the fire. You're always burning off impurities. That's what training is. Now, obviously, flip side of that is we say training is downloading new skills. So you're also growing in skill sets. If you're here, if you're a player, you're here. You want to get to new destination, A to B. The gap is skills. Always is. Okay, so there's an additive process, but also elimination, moving away what's stopping you. And that's a beautiful way to look at life. Look at whatever is disturbing your peace. A lot of people think, I need to add this practice, I need to do this. How about you make a rule, I'm gonna stop doing this. No phone after 9 o'clock. Like that is a source of anxiety in my evening. And instead of adding something, remove it. So we do that in training. That is a central theme of training. That's what we started with. And then we always try to warm our footwork up. So we started from that turn into the shot, we went turn into hesitation and worked on footwork. There is what we call patterns of movement. And then there's rhythms inside of that pattern. And we try to not make training algorithmic, but the sport itself is algorithmic, meaning how offensive players attack defenders, the footwork they use, and not just the footwork that every player use, the footwork that the best use. You want to look at every game you watch this spring. Look at the players that are having success, look at how they're having success, where they're having success, and in that moment of success, what's happening. And it's always something that's very efficient. It's more efficient than the defender. If they're finalizing a defender, it's because they're doing something more efficient than the defender. If whoever's guarding the attacker is just Velcro on them, it's because they're just moving in almost what seems to be predictive, but they're just lockstep with them the whole time. So when you get a step, it's because you're moving in a way, what we call, it's the hockey stop. Instead of breaking down, showing the hand to the defender that you're obviously changing directions because you changed the cadence of your run, you put 2 feet in the ground and you cut them back. So we work on that every single day, and not just for a little bit. We do it a lot. And today, honestly, it's the structure of training that's been working. We'll split up into 2 groups. We'll have a defensive group, offensive group, and they'll compete. Today it was something called spike, where the offense is in the middle, defense is in the outside, the ball gets thrown in, offense spikes out, defense drops in. It was a 4-on-3 to a 4-on-4. But the groups that are not playing is just doing footwork line drills. Hockey stop. I mean, they're getting hundreds of them potentially over and over and over again. Because if you think every time you fold a paper, the crease just gets deeper and stronger, every time you do a pattern or a rhythm, it gets deeper, not just in the neural pathways of your brain, but your whole body starts to understand it. So the hockey stop that we believe is the glue of every offensive player, split dodges, those are great, right to rights, those are great, but the actual glue that creates a dynamic player all over the field is efficient footwork. And we believe the most efficient footwork is the hockey stop. So that is something they do every single day. And the fruits of it we're seeing, but hopefully this spring, that's when we really start to see players understand how valuable efficient footwork is. Something I shared at the end is the season of winter is a great time to push and do things that are very uncomfortable, but also in the back of your mind, you can see spring and be preparing to step on the gas. And I shared, hey, I already see on the radar that it's going to be 45 and sunny next Wednesday. I already see that it's going to be 54. I hope you're starting to get a little hunger building and you say, I can't wait for, I can't wait when, and you're starting to let it build, let it build, let it build. It's a really important thing as an athlete and just in life to have an anticipation that you don't just put off forever. You're not just only excited for the future, but you see something in the future and you let the hunger build and then you prepare and you visualize and then you execute. If you do that, there's a moment in time where you either do or you don't. And that's where we're getting down to. In these coming weeks, you either do or you don't. You put the skill work in to limit mistakes on the field or you don't. And it's super important to have that. One, we have the You First app that is going to allow kids for 100 days. You do or you don't. You track it. You do or you don't. You create rules. I don't want to do this because I want to be stretching instead. You do or you don't. It's so important. And that was my message at the end of training. Hey, I was someone in college that, yes, I'd love to be on the field. Yes, I wanted to be the one that my goal song was playing. But at the same time, I was really motivated by it. I just didn't want to be the person I was messing up at practice. I didn't want to be the guy who was constantly holding the drill back. And you have to see that is a result of you either do or you don't certain things. Those are so controllable. Mistakes in practice, dropping the ball. You have to look at daily tasks, what can be done, and then in the future, don't be upset if something happens. You either do or you don't execute in these next 3 to 5 weeks. It's super important to embrace that spirit of it can happen, but success is always on a knife's edge. And if you fall off, you get cut. Either way, you got to walk the fine line of execute, execute, execute. If not, it's not even that the result is something that will be accident is not the right word, but results aren't really up to chance. We always tell, now there's a margin of error, and there's certain results, standard deviations, chances, all that stuff. But we tell our players games are a celebration of the work you put in, or a revealing of the fact we haven't prepared enough. So it's really critical to see this season. It's coming. We're not going to stop it. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however close it's getting. There's you either do or you don't in the next 3 weeks. And as a player, you really want to internalize that and draw hope from it, not anxiety. Control is exciting. The awareness of control is liberating. So that's my message. It was tonight, and it's the one I only deliver in encouragement, not condemnation. No one's lost anything. Like, there's no result that's off the table because this. No, every result is possible. It's never a zero chance, but it's going to take a lot of work. And make the decision, set the rules, have an aim, and it's one day at a time, one simple day at a time. And that's the spirit. that's the spirit of the academy. It has been for the last 30 weeks, and it's why we've had the most amazing run of training we've ever had. And that's going to be the spirit of the rest of this year. And that's the spirit of the You First project. Understanding every day is an investment, the most important investment you're making in yourself. And you just let it build. So awesome Tuesday. Super proud of the squad. And I hope you look at that, the awareness of choice and the freedom you find in just making the choice every single day. Have a great Tuesday. Let's keep getting after it.